Hi guys, welcome to the today's session of design and analysis of algorithms. In this session, we are going to discuss about module 9, which explains greedy algorithm design technique, in which we are going to discuss about these 4 topics. The first one is greedy technique introduction. Next, we are going to see 3 applications that are to be solved using greedy technique. First one is coin change problem, second one knapsack problem, and job sequencing with deadlines. So in this session, we are going to see the introduction to greedy method. Coming to greedy technique is an algorithm design strategy. It is a problem solving strategy used in algorithm design, where this approach is to make the locally optimal choice at each stage with the hope of finding a global optimal solution. So here in this method, at every stage, it goes for taking a locally optimal choice with the hope of finding a global optimal choice. So in other words, the greedy algorithm makes the best choice at each and every step by considering only on the current situation without worrying about the consequences of that choice on future steps. So it has the hope of getting a global optimum in future. So now, based on the current situation, it selects the decisions. Now, for knowing about these greedy method, first you need to know what is a feasible solution and what is an optimal solution. So, what is a feasible solution? A feasible solution is nothing but if you are given a problem with any input and is having some constraints, the subsets of inputs which satisfy all these constraints are to be called as feasible solutions. So here you have given a problem with some constraints, and that problem is having n inputs. So from that given n inputs, the subset of inputs which are satisfying, that is all the subsets which are satisfying the given constraints are to be called as feasible solutions. And coming to optimal solution, a feasible solution that either maximizes or minimizes, or we can say that satisfies the feasible solution which satisfies or which either maximizes or minimizes the given objective function is to be called as optimal solution. So greedy algorithm works in different iterations. In each iteration, it selects one input. If the selected input leads to a partial solution, then it adds it to the solution. If any input is not feasible, that input will be discarded and process continues with the next input. So this process is to be continued till all the inputs are selected. So here in the first iteration, it goes for selecting one input. The selection criteria, how it is selecting. So here your problem contains n inputs. Out of those n inputs, which input is to be selected in the first iteration? That selection criteria is different for different problems. So in the first iteration, it selects one input. If the selected input leads to a partial solution, then it is added to the solution vector. So if it is not leading to the partial solution, it is to be discarded and it goes for selecting the next input. So this procedure is to be continued till all the inputs are completed. Now, what are the key characteristics of greedy algorithms? So majorly it is having 2 characteristics. Those 2 characteristics are greedy choice property and optimal substructure. What is meant by greedy choice property? So at each and every step, a greedy algorithm makes a best or optimal choice available for the current state of the problem. This choice doesn't depend upon the choices made previously. So here, at each and every step, based on the current state of the problem, it makes a choice, best optimal choice. That is to be called as greedy choice property. And optimal substructure. So a problem exhibits optimal substructure if a solution to the problem can be constructed from optimal solutions to its subproblems. So greedy holds these two properties. Now, how your greedy algorithm works? There are different steps in greedy algorithm working. So first step is initialization. That is, we need to initialize an empty solution or an initial solution depending upon the problem. So next we need to make a greedy choice. So make a locally optimal choice based on a certain criterion without considering the overall future considerations. Next one, feasibility check. So check if the current choice is feasible or not, if it satisfies the given constraints. Then it is feasible, otherwise it is not feasible. Update the solution. If it is feasible, we need to update the solution by including the choice what we made in the previous step. And we need to repeat the steps 2 to 4. We need to get the complete solution. For getting the complete solution, we need to repeat the steps from 2 to 4. That is selecting a global optimal choice, then feasibility checking, then updating the solution. And finally, outputting. We need to return the final solution obtained by the greedy approach. So these are the different steps involved in working of greedy algorithm. And coming to the control abstraction for greedy algorithm, this control abstraction explains how greedy algorithm works. Now here you have given a problem with n inputs. So here it is having this n represents the number of inputs and A contains those n inputs. A is the array which contains all those n inputs. So the first step is we need to initialize the solution. So initially we make it as solution is equal to 0. Next for I is equal to 1 to n, we need to do x is equal to select of A. So here from A we are selecting one input from x. If feasible, solution comma x. So what the solution that I have earlier, that solution comma x is feasible, then solution is equal to, we need to add the selected choice or selected value from A to the solution. And this process is to be repeated till all the inputs are completed, right? So finally, we need to return the solution. So this gives the general method of greedy algorithm design strategy. Next, the same thing is represented in the form of flowchart here. So we need to start the process. We need to consider A1 to n. So initially, we initialize the solution with an empty set. Select x from A1 to n. So out of 1 to n values, we need to select one x value. Now I need to assign this x value to the solution. So if solution comma x is feasible, then we add x to the solution. So if all inputs are over, then we need to return the solution. If all inputs are not over, we need to select another x from A. So if it is not feasible, discard x, that is what the value we selected from A, that is to be discarded, and the process repeated for selecting the next x value from A, right? So this entirely explains the general method of greedy algorithm design strategy. So I hope that you all understood the general method of greedy. In our further sessions, we are going to discuss various applications that can be solved using greedy algorithm design strategy. So thank you for listening.